I feel very lucky to have a job or a craft. The job, I could have a different job. I could work in different scenarios, I guess, in different contexts within the world of massage therapy, but I feel very lucky to have work which allows me to basically provide positive experiences for people. At the very least, at the lowest level, I make a person's day better than it was going to be otherwise. And they usually are very sure to tell me that in one way or another after the session, sometimes during the session. And how rewarding that is to me, it can't really be put into words. I can say that there have been days, and there will be days in the future, where in the morning I wake up and I don't feel like working. I don't feel like going to work. Maybe I'm not in the best state. Maybe I hadn't been taking the best care of myself recently. I hadn't had enough sleep. I'm not eating right. I'm not exercising enough. Whatever it is, maybe I just don't feel like going to work. There have been so many of these days. And then when I go, my day is better because of it. At the end of the day or in the middle of the day, maybe even sometimes after the first session, I realize, well, it's not a realization, it's a feeling in the moment. I feel good now that I am providing some sort of positive experience for someone, making people feel good in the most general sense. Truly, the value comes from being able to reduce that person's stress, because that's what initially interested me about this line of work, this style of work. All the work that I do is in the moment. I am not creating a product that someone can take home with them, or a product that has any type of it's not something that really withstands uh, the passage of time. Though, of course, there are benefits, lasting benefits of any given session, and especially of of frequently receiving body work. You know, the only thing that's for sure, the only thing that's actually real is the work that I'm doing in the moment. And in that moment, during that hour or 90 minutes or whatever the service is, I am essentially creating a space which allows my client to escape reality, escape the daily grind at the very least. Hopefully more than that, it takes some stress away from them. It allows them, it gives, again, I'm creating a space for them to let go and let some of that stress go. And a lot of that, depends on the client. I mean, it's up to them how much they let go or don't let go. And maybe that depends on how much they trust me and all of that. Um, but again, I just feel so lucky to have this kind of work. This work does not bring me any stress. The stress I experience is the stress that I experience in life is personal. It is from relationships, or what I feel is my how I relate to society, how I relate to the world that I live in, or my experiences. It could be any number of things that cause stress, but my work does not cause me stress. Physically, it can be demanding many times, or quite frequently, it is demanding physically, but that is easily undone through self care outside of work. That is not what I would describe as stress. And so, yeah, I feel so lucky. I feel blessed that, I mean, yeah, everything. It's all relative, right? It just the way that I live my life, at least currently, is such that this style of work is perfect for me for the time being. Well, perfect, maybe not, but in the sense that it is not creating me any stress. I mean, I can't ask for any more than that. I could never complain about what I do. The reason I said it's not perfect is because I have been fantasizing more and moving more in the direction this past couple of years of, well, the thing is, I never had this desire before. I never even thought about this, but now I have a desire to create some form of passive income. Like if I could, like I don't have this specific desire, but something that I see that looks really cool to me is like I've started watching all these videos to learn about various Central and South American countries. And there are these YouTubers, for example, who basically travel maybe one country or multiple countries, and they record, they make videos of themselves having fun basically and enjoying and seeing different parts of the country. And in some cases, I guess if their channel is large enough and if they have sponsors and all that, they basically have this machine, this feeding itself, where they're living off of it. They're earning money doing something like that. Like that idea is so cool. Do I specifically have the desire to do that? I don't think so. Of course, I want to travel. There's many places that I want to see, but I don't know if I want to eternally travel. I'm someone who's I very much enjoy home. I very much enjoy having a home base and a steady existence. But it could very easily be argued that that is holding me back from many types of exciting experiences. But anyway, that's why I had to qualify that or rethink that, saying that my job is perfect, because it's not quite perfect. Perfect would be a job that not only didn't cause me any stress, but allowed for ultimate freedom. And I guess that would be ideal. And maybe throughout life, from this point forward, I will be taking baby steps in that direction. But for the time being, for this moment right now, which to me is all that exists, all that has ever existed and all that ever will exist, I really truly have nothing to complain about. Of course, I sometimes lose sight of all that I have, lose sight of everything, but I have a job that doesn't cause stress. I'm earning enough money at least to save. That is to say, I'm not living paycheck to paycheck, which apparently is awesome. Looking at the statistics in this country, that the statistics on that are shocking, especially, yeah, just considering the fact that I don't think I make that much money. But again, given my own personal circumstances and life and expenses, and my desires as well, I'm not someone who, like, of course, I think we all want material success and to earn more and to earn enough to retire at a certain age and all of these things. But what I want for myself, and what I have wanted for a very long time for myself, and what I actually act this out, is to simplify my life. I want my life to be more simple, not more complicated. I don't need that many things. I don't want that many things, though they are tempting and I continue to experiment with them. They don't matter, as long as I have a place that is dry to sleep and I have food, I feel that I have everything that I need. Everything else beyond that is extra credit, I guess. Of course, love feels like a necessity, and I don't mean romantic love. I mean just love, from family and friends. And I'm, again, very blessed to have people who seem to actually care about me around me in my life. And I care about them and I love them. And again, there's nothing I can complain about. Not everyone in my life, and this of course is no disrespect to any of my family who I love. Not everyone in my life is the most perfect example of what one should be or how one should live as a human being. We are all very deeply flawed. But I'm able to focus on the aspects of one's personality in my family in any given case. I'm able to focus on the aspects that I do admire and things that I want to bring into my own self and in my own life. And I'm also able to look at the negative aspects of certain individuals and sort of learn my lesson through them so that I don't have to experience it myself. Some major mistakes in life and addictions and problems and just behaviors sometimes, you know. My as long as I can remember, the majority of my family, of course not every individual, but the majority of my family, I've always been a silent observer for the most part. When I'm very comfortable with people, I do talk more, I do show more of myself, I express more. But in general, I'm quiet, and I naturally have always just taken everything in, listened and watched and observed. And I've noticed that, at least in my case, with the majority of my family, they are very, and I think this is just all people. I am not immune to this. I have judged others before, and I continue to judge people in my own way. But many of them are very judgmental people. If they're not, they may not be speaking poorly of one another when certain people are absent from the physical setting, the physical space, but I listen to conversations that I don't really feed into, but I'm there observing and listening. And again, this might be true of all people. People seem to have such negative things to say about others when they are not around, and especially about others who they don't know and will never meet. And they look down on others, or they put others down with their words, I guess in order to feel better about themselves. That's the cliche, I guess. That's the thing that you would think. But I really don't know the reason. Maybe it's just how they deal with stress. I'm not sure. But I've been experimenting with kind of exploring these YouTube shorts, watching them, I mean, and trying to click on the I'm not interested and then liking a video when I do like it, to see how this, if YouTube will start to feed me only things that I enjoy. And it seems to be really bad at that. It seems to be continuing to feed me just trash that I've said a million times I'm not interested in. That I don't understand. But anyway, something that's, I guess at some point I liked one of these videos. There are these people, a handful of them, who they'll go through a store or maybe on the street. An easy example would be on the street, and they find someone who appears to be homeless, and they'll ask, hey, do you have $1.50 for the bus? And then the person might actually say, oh, here, and they have nothing. Like they might have $5 to their name, or that's what it seems like in these situations, and they'll give them the money, and then the individual who's recording this video will give the money back and say, this was actually just an experiment to see who would be the first person kind enough to help me out today. And then they reward that individual with some large sum of money, $500 or sometimes $1,000 in cash. And they say, well, why? The person making the video will say to the homeless individual, why did you want to help me today? Why were you so kind to do that? And then they share their perspective, and they often ask the individual who helped them, what is your message to the world? I keep hearing that on all these videos. What is your message to the world? What is your message to the world? And like immediately I thought, what would my message to the world be? And I'm like, oh yeah, I have a YouTube channel. I kind of should be always broadcasting my message to the world in one way or another, because that seems like a good thing to do. Even if my message is not something that every single individual would agree with, it's probably cool to put that out there. But I haven't fully thought about this yet. Like, I'm here making this video now and speaking, but I haven't like written it down or formally sifted through all of that. But one important thing that I feel is that, like I said, people judge each other so harshly, especially when they don't know each other. And I think it goes without saying that we can never know, or I can never know what your experience truly is. I can never know what you are going through. We always compare others to ourselves and say, oh, well, I went through stuff that was worse than that, and I climbed my way out of it. I worked my way out of it. I figured it out. They should figure it out too. But the thing is, you never know how someone is even hardwired, what sort of issues they have, what type of person they are, what they've gone through that you don't know about. It's important to understand that we are not all the same, and that you can't judge everyone as if they are yourself. One of the most heartbreaking forms of judgment is like these people that have this sort of like classist perspective on the world or on others. And in the very small circle of people that I have known and interacted with in my life, it tends to be those, and not always, there are of course exceptions, really kind-hearted people who have a lot of money, but it's often the case that the people I know who have the most money, and it might not be that much, it's just the most according to the people that I know, they are the most classist in their judgments. And that, I might not even be using the right word, but what I mean to say is that they look down to people who are homeless or people who have hardly anything, like they are nothing, like they aren't human, and they don't deserve love, and they don't deserve a helping hand. It's a creepy thing, and again, many people feel this way anyway. I know people who don't have much and they still feel that way about people who they perceive as below them on the like economical hierarchy within our society. And don't get me wrong, I'm not giving out all of my money to homeless individuals myself. It's not about that. It's about it's the conversations that I hear. It's the perspectives that I hear that disturb me, and I can't understand it. Because when these things happen, usually that is the moment. If it's with family and it's people that I love, I will speak up and ask and try to like understand what their perspective is, and I really don't get it. But it seems to intensify the more money that somebody has. Truly, it's probably the more fear that somebody has about losing their money or something like that. But it's like, man, it's again, not only is it a bummer, but it's heartbreaking to see how hateful people can be, based solely on the level of material success or just material wealth that a person possesses. They will either look up to them and say, wow, that person is really something, just because of the things that they have. They don't even seem to care about their moral character or anything like that, their integrity. It's just about, wow, look at that, isn't that something? And then there's the lower level, what they perceive as a lower level, which is just less material objects, less material wealth. And I don't know exactly where I'm going with this thought, but it bums me out. That sucks. My message to the world in this context would be, don't judge people so harshly, because you can just kind of look the other way, or just focus on you, keep doing you, keep chasing the material success, and that's awesome. But you don't need to have this sort of like, you don't need to create enemies to do that. You don't need to exist in opposition to your fellow man who has less than you and see them as your enemy or whatever it is that's going on. That doesn't need to happen. You can still do what you're doing and be chill about it. Take a few deep breaths, relax, calm down. yeah, people are just, I guess, wound up really tight. And maybe a part of, I don't know. Again, I'm very lucky that my job doesn't increase stress, because that I don't do well with high levels of stress, and that's probably why I maneuvered myself into that position anyway. That's probably why I found that and thought, hey, this might be a good fit for me. But yeah, I felt like talking about this today. Um, I'll probably just stop the video here. But I'm still thinking about this whole, like, what is my message to the world thing, and I think I will continue to think about this in the days, weeks, and months to come, and continue talking about it, because there are so many things that would be my message to the world. But I guess this first video is just about, like, judgment, because we only have so much energy to deal with our own stuff. And if you've got a family and kids and a stressful job and money issues and just like all types of problems, if you're dealing with any kind of abuse, I mean, everything it can get really deep, it can get really heavy. But at the very least, what would help, I think, is keeping all of that energy that you have in your body and within yourself, wherever that's coming from, keeping it to focus on resolving those issues and de-stressing and taking care of what needs to be taken care of. There doesn't need to be any energy that we expend on hating others or looking down on others, just to sort of like feel better or feel like you're even more accomplished than you really are, because look at them, they have nothing. Look at me, I have so much more than them. That isn't really serving you in any way. It is creating this illusory sense of like heightened value, but it is an illusion. It's not actually it's not actually there. What I always find funny is that, like, material, look, and again, I'm not like anti material success. I would like to have more material success as well, and I'm working toward that. But when it's to the point where it's like tainted your whole, like, your heart and your compassion for your fellow man, it's disturbing. It's disturbing. It doesn't need to be that way. And hopefully we can, again, I'm not even saying that we need to be more outwardly kind to one another through physical actions, though that would be amazing. We could just chill out a little bit and not be so quick to judge someone who we have no idea. We have no idea what their path has been, what's brought them to where they are, or what they're capable of. So, yeah. I hope you guys are having a good day. Maybe you're not. Hope you're hanging in there at the very least. And maybe think about this question. Maybe even make a video yourself responding to it. What would your message to the world be? At least what's one message to the world? What's one thing that if you could like snap your fingers and people would just get it and it would click? What would you want to change, or what would you want people to understand or do more of or do less of? So again, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.